Everyone in the gym was at rock bottom, battling demons, broken and defeated. That's what I saw in every person in there when I started this journey, when that's the place I was at. And it's really interesting. 4.5 years later, I see everybody in the gym as elevating. I see good vibes. I feel it because that's where I'm at now. And it's this wild thing that I'm still just really learning about. As within, so without. This energy, this vibration, this belief that we have, it's projected out onto the world. And that's where I believe manifestation comes from. When you see people that do have this deep belief in a cause, in themselves, in their God, whatever that belief is, that vibration, it's projected out onto the world, and they then manifest whatever this feeling is that they believe in into existence, whatever outcome that they're really focusing their vibrations and their mind and their thoughts on. It's such an interesting thing that I do believe we truly have the ability to control our destiny, control the outcome of the universe through this vibration, through this belief, this internal thing that we get. And we can also put ourselves, manifest something really bad by having these bad vibrations when we're broken, when we're defeated, when we're living in a place of fear and scarcity, which is sadly what the world really trains us into through the way we're limited by the way, generating an income works in the mainstream culture and what I was educated in university for, to go somewhere, follow directions, and have somebody value my life, tell me what my life's worth, and buy it from me one paycheck at a time. So this thing with fitness, it's amazing because what it does is it gives us the opportunity to plant the seeds, to build a different belief through actions, that we can see someone different in the mirror because we consistently do something different. We show ourselves something different. We do it because we show up. It's not about motivation at all. Motivation is trash. I see all these posts. How do I get motivated to work out? How do I get motivated to eat healthy? You don't. You commit to it and you don't miss. And that is how this entire thing works. Got some cars coming up on me here. Literally, you commit to it, you do it over and over again. Habits turn into lifestyle. Lifestyle turns into identity. You see something different in the mirror. You feel something different. That's projected out onto the world. And your outcome, your results, the path that you're on, it changes because of the way that we have changed our own internal beliefs and energy. Now, this is still a daily battle. I'm discovering that this is true. I'm hearing this from people who you see have made this work, who have really learned how to access that within themselves. I'd say Dr. Joe Dispenza is probably the top name in this, but you see it far beyond him. But it's not something, you don't just change your mindset, you don't just feel different and believe different. You have to earn it through actions. You have to stay focused. Your mind has to be in that place. This has to become your cognition, your energy, your everything. And I can tell you, so many of the things in my life that I have had that true focus on, that I have truly just had deep in my mind, deep in my heart, they have come to fruition now. A lot of times they didn't turn out quite as planned. The best example of the one that did work really good was my stunt riding back in the college days, before social media. I'll put just a couple clips. I surrounded myself with the people that did it. They were about 100 miles away. I mean, I obsessed over this from grade school. Motorcycles, motocross, handlebars. It's always been a big part of my life. It's still a big part of my income now. And I, one day had a motorcycle, couldn't do wheelies. I'd been trying forever, taught myself in a dream, and then surrounded myself with people who were way better than me. And I just got way better overnight. Moving out to a ski town, living there for 7 years, that was something that, it went terribly wrong early on because I broke my ankle in 7 places and it really changed the direction of my life. But it was something I was obsessed with. When my first business went under, when my money was gone, my credit was gone, it's like, well, I got to recover somewhere. I got to make this up somewhere. I might as well have some fun doing it. And ski town life is really hard. In business, I started my first business. There was always fear and scarcity. I didn't know exactly what to do. Like, I was trying to find the path, like school taught us, hey, follow these directions, get this result, when it was really a whole lot different. And same way with job interviews. So there was this internal energy, these vibes, fear and scarcity, and then things didn't work out the way they were supposed to. I brought that to fruition. I manifested the bad outcome. Now, I'm glad the business didn't work out. I was doing amazing, innovative things. 12 years later, nobody's touched what I was doing anywhere in the nation. This is in the real estate market. I had a problem nobody else in real estate ever has. I had too many leads. I didn't know what to do with them. I had so many people that want to do business, not enough good agents to work with, and some other structural problems. And a head-on wreck with a semi-truck was my business partner's, a big part of that business's demise. But it wasn't where I was supposed to be. And I've had a few of these different businesses. I've figured everything out. I know what to do. Something went wrong. And I realized, okay, well, there was a lot of money there, but this is not the right path for me. So through all that, I almost feel like I had to get to rock bottom before I really found my purpose. I feel like this was a story that was pre-written in my head, that I was going to do everything really bad for really long and then have this epic comeback and make a huge difference in the world. And I know now that I'm manifesting that into existence. Why? Well, I launched my own business, which is exactly what I thought I wanted to do forever. I don't even want to tell you about all the cool things because it sounds like bragging. Now, I haven't really hit escape velocity. I make comfortable money. I've paid off a lot of debt. My business has bought a vehicle. I'm moving forward. But I'm not just shooting the money guns out, and I'm still struggling. I'm still making it by. There's times when I have to get real thin to do the things I need to do here to create content. But I know that this journey we're doing together right now, there's no time or energy left. I'm putting everything into the business. I have too much depending on me. So what am I doing? I'm talking to you every day on the way home from the gym. I edit for 30 minutes to an hour before my nighttime routine starts because I'm in bed by 8:30 since I get up at 3:30 and work out. And I know that I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to get better at speaking to you. The message is going to get out that fitness is the foundation for elevation and habits are the foundation for fitness. Get those two unlocked. We're going to get control of our vices, to overcome them, to recognize there is a better life out there, that presence, being sober, all these different feelings that we can create for ourselves when we get the vices and all these bad things out of our lives. There's something amazing on the other side of it. And, this is supposed to be a struggle. This isn't supposed to be easy. Just because I feel this true sense of elevation many times, and I'm still battling it every day. Old Mike's still trying to come through. Fear and scarcity still tries to poke out. Anger and resentment still tries to get a hold of me. And I've learned how to recognize it, change it, but it can come right back sometimes. This is a path of progression, just like fitness, just like investing, just like content. None of this stuff is supposed to happen overnight, but we see all these examples online of somebody went, fix 50x leverage short on some meme coin and becomes a millionaire off $100 or something, Yeah, it happens. As often as people win the lottery, that happens too. But, when I was finding some direction, working at a liquor store, watching these guys come in, spend $3 or $5 on a lottery ticket every day on top of the booze and the cigarettes they were buying. I'm just thinking now that I understand investment and assets, it's like, dude, if you spent the last decade or two that you've been wasting your money on those lottery tickets, what if you were just buying S&P 500 for $5 a day for the last 20 years? Or whatever asset that you understand and believe in. You would be in great shape. Everybody's trying to get the quick win. Nobody wants to make the climb to get the view. So this one kind of went in a few directions today, but I just want you to understand this thing that I'm learning and evolving with, and it's that our internal energy is going to be projected out on the world. And it's hard when we start catching ourselves in that bad place when we're conscious of it. You can't just, I'm just going to change this. There's two parts of it. There's the actions and habits and things that we do that make the person that we are, to what we do, doing and being. We need to become that, and that is through actions and habits. But there's also this realization that our internal belief, our view of things, our view of ourselves and our life, and what we're seeing and feeling from within is going to be what we see and feel beyond us too. So at times where there's a whole lot of uncertainty and fear in the world, and somebody who understands finance and economics, at a fundamental level that most people never will, I recognize that the old way things worked, combined with all the change in AI and stuff, there's a lot of reason that fear can come through. But the more that we can believe in ourselves, the more that we can have a dream and a vision, the more that we can focus on our true best outcome. And for me, being, freedom and optionality, those are some of my top North Stars, so that I can have an impact, so that I can make a difference, so that I can do something good with my life. Financial freedom is one of those. If I don't have to trade any of my time for dollars to build and do something for someone else, then that time and energy and all of my valuable skills and all this experience and all the painful lessons I've learned and just decades of learning marketing, building funnels, SEO, content creation, I can just put all of my energy into that, and then this message that matters most. Because, like I said, my business is cool. We do amazing, cool things: custom motorcycles, off-road motorsports, hot tubs, manufacturing firearms, all these wild things, custom paint. It's cool. But none of that's making a difference in the world. None of it really has purpose. And so, yes, the young version of me would be super stoked. But the person who has elevated and evolved and found his mission and purpose realizes that the opportunity cost, all the time and energy and effort that goes into marketing really awesome custom motorcycles, is taking away from building this message, getting this out to the world, helping the people that need it at the time that they need it. Like the people that I found, but they were all so far beyond the level of where I was at. I didn't get to see this path. I didn't get to watch Bedros Keuilian as he was working, washing dishes at Disney World. Now he's worth hundreds of millions, owns 7 businesses. At the time, one of my biggest influences, the classic story of Icarus, who flew too close to the sun. The lessons that he taught during this period of about 2022, late 2021 to middle of 2024. The things I learned from this man, they are timeless. They are extremely valuable. Now, he didn't live a life congruent with those, and he ended up back in prison where this all started, and his name's Wes Watson, and I'll always be grateful for the message. I never had anybody make these things make sense more concisely, but I also watched the energy, I watched the direction of his content, and just what he was projecting, wasn't congruent with the lessons I'd learned from him. But still, if you need a good tough love influence that has a really amazing message, the early stuff from this guy when I found him, at the end of 2021 until, like I said, the middle of 2024, before it all went into flexing and showing off with the big jets and sadly his violent crimes put him back where he started. And I remember one time he had talked about somebody trying to pick a fight with him, and he was a little bit earlier into this journey, still rolling in Lamborghinis, still in a nice penthouse place, and he talked about a guy wanting to pick a fight with him, and he's like, man, it's not worth it. It's ego. This is something that I get into this, I could lose everything that I've built. But later on, that ego got to him. He starts calling people out. It turns into a fight. And then, whoop this guy's ass, beating him with weight belts and stuff. And there was, I think, another 1 or 2 violent offenses after that. So, I still think if you need a real tough love message, find some of that older content from this man. It's concise, 10 minutes or so, and it makes a lot of sense. But don't follow any person. Not too close. Learn the lessons, apply them to your life, figure out what works and what doesn't. You hear something from me that isn't congruent to your path of elevation, throw it out. Hang on to what makes sense to you. I love you. Get into that gym, start boxing, jiu-jitsu, start riding a bicycle, do yoga. I don't care what your choice of fitness is, especially at the beginning. The habits are the part that matters. Commit to it at least 4 days a week. Go hard and uncomfortable. Don't stop when you feel like stopping. Don't hurt yourself. You don't have to do everything right, especially at the beginning. First 60 or 90 days is just about habits. Don't hurt yourself and just stick with those habits and don't ever miss. Your path to elevation, whether you're already in it or whether it's just starting, today is just another day to keep dollar cost averaging, to keep the long, slow, steady, tortoise wins the race path to progression. Don't look for training wheels. Even if you're old enough, even if you've got blood tests that say that you can justify TRT. Now, once you have made it well into your fitness journey, once you have hit a real peak level, and I haven't done any of this, tried it once in college, haven't done any of this 4.5 years into this, I'm in my mid-40s. It's probably coming in my late 40s, I don't know. But I'm going to have learned that I can do this on my own without any training wheels, without any nannies along the way. That's, I think, one of the most detrimental things somebody can do to themselves along this journey, because this is about building mental resilience. This is about showing ourselves who we are when we look in the mirror, by knowing that we got up and we did the hard, uncomfortable thing until it's not even hard and uncomfortable anymore. And if you train yourself from the beginning, or just a year or 2 or 3 in, that, okay, I need some training wheels to get where I want to go, then you're showing yourself you're not that tough, you're not that strong, you're not that resilient, and that's going to bleed into every other single part of your life. Your habit is, yeah, I can do it 70 or 80%, and everything else is going to be 70 or 80%. All right. No more rant for the day. I love you guys. Hang out tomorrow again. Well, I'll keep shooting these every day. They'll post pretty much every other day. And we'll just keep moving on this journey together. Love you.